Good evening, I'm Sharon Kester.
And I'm Ben Garrett. Coming up next here on Newsbeat 28, retired Marine Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North is back in the Triangle again to campaign for local Republicans.
It's been a dangerous day on area highways. We'll have details.
Freshmen are settling in on the UNC Chapel Hill campus today. We'll take you there.
Weatherman Van Coleman says there's rain in sight.
And Mark Barger has all your weekend sports. Join us for Newsbeat 28.
Come home to Star Search tonight at 7 p.m. The weekend's latest news from the Triangle to the Coastal Plain. Newsbeat 28 with Ben Garrett, Sharon Kester, Van Coleman with the weekend forecast, and on sports, Mark Barger. Now, Newsbeat 28.
Good evening, I'm Sharon Kester.
And I'm Ben Garrett. Retired Marine Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North is back in Raleigh again this evening to help raise money for Republican congressional candidate Tom Fetzer. North attended a private reception at this Raleigh home. Cameras were not allowed inside the $250 person fundraiser. Newsbeat 28 asked the Fetzer campaign about their candidate's relationship with Colonel North.
They met for the first time today, so there has been no prior relationship. Colonel North cares about what goes on in the country, and he has been the last several months campaigning for a number of conservative candidates, and he feels it's worth his time and his effort to come down and do that.
North is appearing free of charge. The money raised will go to the Fetzer campaign. Now, North will hold a public rally at the Reynolds Coliseum tonight at 7:30. Tickets are $5 and $10. A group of Triangle area residents will be outside the Coliseum on the NC State campus to protest Colonel North's appearance. We'll have a full report tonight at 11 on Newsbeat 28 Update.
It was a tense morning for Apex rescue units who had to deal with a potentially explosive situation. A propane gas tanker overturned near the intersection of Highways 64 and 55 around 7:30 this morning. Firemen sprayed water on a potentially hazardous mixture of diesel fuel and propane, which leaked out on the highway. Traffic was rerouted for 4.5 hours as Apex rescue workers tried to clear the scene. The driver of the truck, 26-year-old Dewey Westbrook of Benson, was taken to Wake Medical Center with a dislocated shoulder. Westbrook has been charged with reckless driving.
A 3-car pileup in Raleigh this afternoon sent 7 people to the hospital. One person, 43-year-old Beatrice Joy Wolf of Iowa, was critically injured. Charges are pending against 25-year-old Marshall Dwayne Harris for driving too fast. One of the passengers described the injuries.
She was sitting in the front seat. She's blind, and she had a little gash over her forehead. And then there was my cousin. He was driving, and he was in the front, and he had fractured his neck or something like that.
The 6 other injured in the accident are said to be in good condition at this hour, with only minor cuts and bruises. The 3-car accident happened just inside the Raleigh city limits at 6600 Glenwood Avenue.
The State Highway Patrol says it will not file charges against a woman who hit 2 men on Highway 301 south of Micro last night. 19-year-old Roger Van Christian of Beaufort, North Carolina was killed. His brother, 26-year-old Wayne Irvin Christian, was injured and remains in Johnston Memorial Hospital in stable condition. The 2 brothers had pulled their car off to the side of the roadway and were in the road looking for a lost key when 34-year-old Ann Hall Kennedy of Selma rounded the curve and struck them. Authorities say the accident was unavoidable.
In Smithfield, a man who is accused of stabbing a police officer last night has been charged with assault with a deadly weapon with intent to kill. 49-year-old Alton Jones stabbed Officer Ronald Lee Jr. as Jr. tried to enter his home. Lee was trying to arrest Jones for assaulting his landlord. Jones was later subdued by several officers who were called to the scene after the stabbing. Officer Lee is in good condition right now at a local hospital.
The Piedmont Printed Circuits plant in Creedmoor is being closed, putting 160 people out of work. The announcement came from the parent company, Tyco Laboratories of New Hampshire, yesterday. 100 workers were laid off immediately at the Creedmoor facility. 60 others will be kept on for another month to finish work already in progress.
One of the most historic moments in civil rights history was celebrated today. It's the 25th anniversary of Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech. Several area residents were in the nation's capital today to remember the event. Almeda Armstrong of Montgomery County was there today and that August day in 1963.
It was a very good feeling to be there. You felt like that you were making a move to try to help right some of the wrongs of this country.
Armstrong was one of about 40 area residents who boarded this bus in Raleigh last night to make the trip to Washington. Many agreed that while King's speech helped pave the way for federal civil rights and a change in racial attitudes, there are still parts of the dream that have yet to be fulfilled.
And when we come back, it's moving day for new moms and their babies at Duke Medical Center.
The hospital opened a new women's health center today. We'll tell you about it after this.
Coming up next time on Cheers.
30 years says they Tadanatsky.
Hey, the gang's all here for Boston's most awaited wedding.
Oh, yuck! Double yuck!
But first, some last-minute advice.
Run, Sammy. Run like the wind.
It's the moment we've all been betting on. Okay, folks, will they or won't they? Wait and see.
This is in you.
Next time on Cheers.
Monday at 5:30 on 28 WPTF TV.
The UNC campus was brimming with confused and eager faces today as freshmen piled into the dormitories, and we do mean piled. More than 3,000 freshmen are expected to have settled in before nightfall. This morning, parents and friends chipped in with the unloading duties as counselors helped out with an extra hand and some timely advice.
It's a tough time for parents and kids because a lot of them come from far away, and it's a big, long trip, and then this is just the end, getting moved into the dorm and getting excited before the year starts.
It wasn't too bad. They were supposed to open at 10. We got here at 9:30. People were already moving in. The hardest part was just getting into the elevator. Once you got into the elevator, you're fine.
Tonight, the newcomers will meet with their resident assistants to get the lowdown on everything from dorm rules to the campus social scene. Upperclassmen will move into the dormitories tomorrow.
Meanwhile, a UNC fraternity house in Chapel Hill is sporting a new look these days. The Chi Phi house and other fraternities were ordered to either undergo renovations or shut down. Now, that was about 2 summers ago, and Chi Phi members have been working on their house ever since. Today, fraternity brothers were out polishing things up for a ribbon cutting to celebrate the house's refurbishing. Members say they are finally close to completing what they once thought would be an impossible task.
Basically, last summer made it livable. This summer we went ahead and started working on the appearance and stuff, and we spent about $500,000 so far.
The Chi Phi house was built in the 1930s. Fraternity members will begin moving into the new house tomorrow.
There may be some relief on the horizon for people who suffer from cancer. A brand new drug company in the Triangle has received more than $2 million in investment to develop anti-cancer drugs. Spinks Biotechnologies Corporation plans to develop drugs for diseases characterized by uncontrolled cell growth, such as cancer. It also hopes to make and market products to be applied to such skin conditions as psoriasis.
You've no doubt heard the expression, "You've come a long way, baby." Well, that's what Duke Medical Center officials were saying today as they welcome newborns and their families into the new Women's Health Center. As our Ellen McVeigh reports, this major move from one hospital building to another went off without a hitch.
The freshest faces on the block were in for their first road trip today as Duke Hospital prepared to move babies and new moms from Duke South to new quarters in Duke North. The Bellotti family was among the first to be packed up and moved out. Even the bright lights and the shuttle ride to Duke North did little to excite new baby Richard Bellotti, who took it all in stride. The move has been in the plans for 8 years now, and hospital officials say it comes not a moment too soon. Until now, all of the acute services were scattered between Duke North and Duke South. Having everything in one place is sure to save a lot of time and trouble.
When we were building Duke North, the goal was to get all the units together, so OBGYN was a part of that. What we have today is a culmination of this planning.
The 70-bed unit includes the gynecology and obstetrics divisions. There are 9 labor rooms and a 30-bed nursery.
It consolidates the nursery, so we have the intensive nursery nursery immediately adjacent to the delivery room. So the high-risk mom and her infant have an increased opportunity for all the things we can do to help her.
Of course, all the excitement of moving means more to the staff than it does to the new parents, who are preoccupied, and rightly so, with more important things.
Well, it's a wonderful experience. I sat through the delivery, and it was, I didn't think I was going to last, but I did. It was beautiful.
In Durham, Ellen McVeigh, Newsbeat 28.
Well, Van, all in all, not a bad day for a move. It was a little on the warm side,
but no rain. But that may be changing, Sue. As a matter of fact, we may be just around the corner from the best chance of predictable rain since June. Stay with us. We've got a 1-2 rain punch headed our way.
Monday at 7 p.m. on 28 WPTF TV.
Why am I on television talking about breast cancer? Because someone I care about had it, Kay Yao. She's representing our country in the Olympics in South Korea, putting her coaching experience to work for a larger cause. She's also sharing her cancer experience. She's serving as an honorary chair of an effort to raise money to start a breast cancer research program at the Lineberger Cancer Research Center. It's in Chapel Hill. Hey, we're all on the same team against breast cancer.
Join our team. Send your contributions to the Lineberger Cancer Research Center.
Newsbeat 28 weather, brought to you by Central Carolina Community College.
Welcome back. Our photographer Jeff Green takes us over to Wake Forest for our weather shot today, and a familiar sight this time of year of tobacco in the field coming on up. The high temperature today in Raleigh, 88 degrees, just about what we expect for this time of year, and the overnight low was 70, and as you know, no rain in the past 24 hours. Presently, we've got some hazy skies overhead around the Triangle area. The temperature in Raleigh and at the airport, 85 degrees. Winds are southerly. That's why it was so warm today. The humidity is at 57%. The barometer is holding steady at 30.05. Now, around the state, temperatures all from east to west are in the 80s. Notice, if you will, 82 out at Hatteras, 89 in Fayetteville. That's the hot spot. Checking in with Charlotte, they match it up with 89, as does Hickory. 85 degrees, however, over towards, well, I forgot where that was. We'll get to that later. Our satellite pictures show some clearing skies over Virginia and North Carolina. I haven't forgotten where that is. And very clear skies all the way from Maine through the New England states down towards the Gulf of Mexico. But clouds are along the coastline. And if you notice on the backside of this clearing, another bank of clouds all the way from the Great Lakes down towards the Texas Panhandle. Let's get a little closer to Florida, and we'll see that tropical depression still maintaining its position about 125 miles southeast of Miami. Wind speed, the sustained winds, I should say, are at 35 miles an hour, and it is moving to the northwest at about 10 to 15 miles an hour, and that is very significant for us. Our radar shot will show that there are no showers presently in the state, just a little bit of very light activity just south and east of Raleigh, but other than our ground clutter, not really anything showing up on the screen. Let's get to our current national map. I'll show you what's happening with that tropical depression. It is moving, as I say, to the north and west, so it's going to bump into the coastline pretty soon. But notice, if you will, remember the bank of clouds I was telling you stretching all the way from the Great Lakes? Well, that is a long cold front moving ever so slowly in our direction. Now, as we'll see on our forecast map, that cold front is going to take a pretty good move tomorrow. By Monday, it'll be in the probably western Appalachians. But for us tomorrow, here's the approach of our 1-2 rain punch. Again, the frontal system moving in from the west, but when this tropical depression hits the shoreline, it's going to start to the north and a little more direct route towards our area, and that will in turn send up a lot of moisture off the Atlantic into the coastline and into the Piedmont itself. So we'll have lots of moisture in the air, both from this tropical depression moving in our direction as well as the approach of this cold front. So probably by about Monday afternoon into Tuesday, we'll start seeing clouds really thick over the state and a real good chance of rain for a couple of days later this week. Well, if you're headed towards the beach tomorrow, well, it may not be such a nice day. Lots of moisture in the air, therefore the clouds are going to be hot, though, around Elizabeth City with 91 degrees. And as we look towards the rest of tonight in our area, partly cloudy skies, the humidity is going to be up, so kind of muggy. Overnight low 69 degrees. And tomorrow during the day, hot, cloudy sunshine. Certainly some periods of uninterrupted sunshine with no clouds overhead, but all in all, lots of clouds moving in later in the afternoon. High temperature about 90 degrees. Into Sunday night, well, some random storms early, but then somewhat of a clearing trend later in the evening. Overnight low about 71. And what about Monday? Well, partly sunny, but a little bit cooler. High of only 88, which is about what we expect for this time of year. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, here comes the frontal system as well as the tropical depression converging right on our state. So Tuesday, all across the state, I'm calling for scattered thunderstorms, and we'll see a lot of them. By Wednesday, a little more rain, but possibly some clearing by Thursday. But nonetheless, our best chances for rain, and well, since I can remember, since June.
Okay, thank you, Ben.
We need the rain. Coming up next, Mark Barger has a story of some U.S. athletes who may not be going to the Olympics after all.
And it was showtime in New Orleans today for the Steelers and the Saints. The highlights are next in sports.
A high school education just isn't enough anymore. It won't get you a good job. In order to get a job with a future, you have to invest in yourself. You need a college education. Well, what about a good college education at a reasonable price? Central Carolina Community College in Sanford has quality instruction, small classes, convenience, a variety of up-to-date curriculums, a caring atmosphere, and more, all at a reasonable price. Call us today for all the details. Invest in yourself at Central Carolina Community College.
Circuit City is getting cleaned out fast because right now we're having a price slasher sale to make room for new inventory. Save on this RCA 19-inch color TV, just $188.97. This Magnavox VHS camcorder with high-speed shutter is only $9.99. Hundreds of prices have been slashed, so rush to Circuit City before all the great values are swept away. The Price Slasher Sale at Circuit City.
Why is Rick O'Neill in downtown Raleigh #1 in Chrysler Plymouth sales in the Carolinas? Is it because he has the biggest showroom? No. Is it because he has the largest display area? No. The reason is we sell cars for less, backed by 39 years of quality service. We know you aren't interested in shiny new buildings or sales hype, only in rock-bottom prices. That's why you pay only for the car, not the mortgage. Come in today for low clearance prices at Rick O'Neill Chrysler Plymouth, South Wilmington Street, downtown Raleigh.
Knowing whom to call in a medical emergency could save your life. North Carolina has one of the most modern emergency medical services systems in the nation. Thousands of volunteers and professionals across the state work as emergency medical technicians, paramedics, and emergency room nurses and physicians. These people work hard to provide life support in a medical emergency. If you don't know your emergency medical phone number, learn it, and learn it now. You could save a life.
Well, you probably saw it this afternoon here on TV 28. It's the reason we're running kind of late tonight, and that's because the Yankees were just slaughtered in it.
That's right.
It was a long, long game.
I think they really do need Reggie Jackson back. I don't think he's going to come back, but if you watch the game, he probably don't want to come back if you saw the Yankees against the Angels today. We'll talk about that in a minute, but first a couple of notes on the Olympic team. Could be some bad news for the U.S. Olympic swim team. Word out of Austin, Texas today is that one of the women's swimmers failed a drug test at the Olympic trials. An Austin TV station says that Angel Myers tested positive, but is filing an appeal with the U.S. Olympic Committee. Myers set 2 American records during the trials and has been expected to shoot for 5 medals in Seoul coming up next month. We'll hear more on that maybe later tonight. Now, also on the Olympic front, men's basketball coach John Thompson cut center Alonzo Mourning from the Olympic team today, said he didn't want to delay the start of Mourning's freshman year at Georgetown. Thompson still with one more player to cut. No word on when that will come, but his deadline is Friday. Now, the appropriate football weather might not be here yet, but that's not stopping the sport. High school football got started around here last night. Tonight, it's the first college game. Nebraska and Texas A&M squaring off in the Kickoff Classic. And today, another in the final weekend of exhibition games. The Steelers and Saints knocked heads. And in the first quarter of this one, it was all Saints. They looked like they were just going to rip Pittsburgh to pieces today. Very first play for the Saints, Bobby Hebert goes goes to Eric Martin for the touchdown, the first of 3 touchdowns for the Saints in the first quarter alone. Here goes Hebert again, this time 64 yards, a strike to rookie Brett Perriman. New Orleans was up 21-0, but Pittsburgh, they battle back. Louis Lips beats his man, and Bubby Brister finds him in the clear, 19 yards for the touchdown. Pittsburgh gets within 21-14. Then, just before halftime, New Orleans gets on the board again. On 4th down and inches, rookie Craig Hayward bumps into Hebert, then rambles 49 yards for the touchdowns. 264 pounds a guy in motion. The Saints up 28-14 at half, but they blow it. Pittsburgh rallies for 17 second-half points. Weegee Thompson makes a touchdown catch there, and the Pittsburgh Steelers beat New Orleans today, 31-28. It's going to be Saturday night at the races tonight in Bristol. The NASCAR drivers getting ready for the Busch 500, one of the few nighttime races they have. Alan Kulwicki is going to be on the pole for that one. He broke the race qualifying record last night. Mark Martin will be alongside him on the front row, and also expected to be in the action tonight is points leader Rusty Wallace. That despite a nasty crash yesterday, he was not seriously hurt in it, and he will be driving a backup car tonight. Now, the golfers are on the PGA Tour this week. They've got their work cut out for them in Akron, Ohio. One of the toughest courses on the tour is playing host to the World Series of Golf. Mike Reed and Ian Baker Finch